Let's bring in Ellie Cohanim, former State Department Deputy Special Envoy under President Trump. Ellie, we've heard the Speaker of the Iranian Parliament threatening the United States if there is any kind of a military strike against that country. Should we be worried?
John, you know, we are at a very historic moment right now in President Trump's second administration where, for a host of factors, I believe we are looking at a potential Iranian regime collapse moment. This is no less historic than the fall of the Berlin Wall. And so for President Trump, the consideration right now is his legacy. Will he be the president that reshapes the Middle East to advance American national security goals? You know, when you look at Iran, what you understand is that this Iranian regime for 47 years has tried to push the United States out of the region. And so the collapse of the Iranian regime would be historic in that it would be a historic defeat for radical Islam. It would be a historic victory, not just for Western civilization, but for all civilization. And also you have to remember Iran is a big linchpin in that China, Russia, Iran axis. So taking Iran off of that chess plate really advances, again, America's interests. And the other piece of it is that it would allow President Trump to achieve all of his goals for the region. You know, finally disarm Hamas and achieve his 20-point plan for Gaza, achieve normalization between the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and Israel, see a real lasting peace in the Middle East. Remember that when we look at that region, all of the destabilization, the terror proxy activity, all roads for 47 years have led back to Tehran. And that also, it hit even our own Western hemisphere. Remember that when President Trump took the bold action against Maduro in Venezuela, we heard that part of that logic was Hezbollah, Iran's terror proxy that had infiltrated right at our own doorstep. So again, we are at a very historic moment that as President Trump looks at his options, he is at this moment considering his legacy and how he can advance American national security interests finally, after 47 years, reversing that very poor judgment by Jimmy Carter, who helped usher in Khomeini and help the downfall of the king at the time, the Shah in Iran. Now we're looking 47 years later, the 47th president can undo that historic Democrat mistake and help the Iranian people bring back that leader that would restore faith and confidence in their own government and help Iran, as we've been hearing in the news lately, make Iran great again.
Well, you might be talking about Reza Pahlavi. He is the crown prince in exile of Iran, the son of the deposed Shah there. Here's what he had to say about the situation.
We need to make sure that this time the Iranian people are successful. That kind of assistance will go a long way in letting the Iranian people prevail in this war that we have against this regime. And we need to cut the snake's head off for good so it can no longer be a threat to Iranian interest, to American interest, to regional interest.
But there's no absolute guarantee that if this regime were to fall, that Reza Pahlavi would become the next leader of Iran.
John, that's absolutely true, but I just want to share from the regional and the Iranian perspective, the way they see it is that 47 years ago, the Ayatollah Khomeini came in promising free housing and all kinds of free things, and the Iranian people were sold a false bill of goods by the far left and the radical Islamists in Iran, and the Shah was deposed again with Jimmy Carter's blessing. So the way they look at it is that the crown prince in exile, his return to Iran, and that's the chanting we hear on the streets, corrects a mistake, a historical mistake made 47 years ago. He is the only trusted personality. He's the only name you hear chanted in Iran. He has said he's willing to be a leader of a transition in partnership with the United States and the West to help make sure that there isn't chaos in any kind of a regime collapse scenario, helping to avoid the Iraq chaos that we all witnessed. And so, you know, he's kind of the trusted personality. The Iranian people are asking for him, and again, it corrects a historical mistake. You know, the Shah was deposed, his son comes back. There is a historicity to that is what the Iranian people are chanting for his name every night as we see these protests unfold. We hear his name.
It is a fascinating time, and it's going to be something we watch closely here on Fox News Channel. Ellie Cohanim, it's good to have you on. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.